Hello and welcome to the Q Today show for March the 9th to the 13th. I'm Alison Ron, one of your co-hosts for this program.
And I'm your other host, Ron Campbell.
Great. We just want to remind you that our weekday show runs from Tuesday at 5 p.m. to Friday at 8 a.m. and our weekend offering from Friday at 5 p.m. to Tuesday at 8 a.m. And we broadcast every day at 8 a.m., 5 p.m., and 10 p.m.
And Alison, before we get into the news, I'd like to remind our viewers out there that we're still looking for sponsors, and we're also looking for members for our group. So if you're interested, please contact us at our email address, qtoday2012@gmail.com. And as always, we'd like to thank the Quesnel Caribou Observer for providing some of the news stories for our program today.
And we do just give the highlights here on Q Today, so if you want to get the details and the full story, you can pick up your copy of the Quesnel Caribou Observer or check out their website online at quesnelobserver.com. And now to the news with Ron.
Thank you, Alison. The rhetoric has become full-blown as hundreds braved the bitter winds to denounce Bill 22 this past week as teachers held a rally to emphasize their strike action against the government. The article, though, did not give any views from the other side. Not all students, not all parents, or not all taxpayers support the view of the BCTF and its union members. And I'll have more on this in my rumblings later on, Alison.
Oh, I can't wait to hear that. So the next item in our news today is on the College of New Caledonia. Their Board of Governors recently voted in favor of raising tuition by 2% for the 2012-13 academic year. This move is expected to generate about $100,000 and will work out to about an additional $5 per course or $50 for full-time students per year, depending on the program. The college is working to resolve a potential $2.3 million budget shortfall for the 2012-13 fiscal year due to rising costs and declining income from tuition revenue and status quo government funding. The article outlined a number of preliminary budget decisions recommended to the board, and CNC President John Bowman said it's too early to say if there may be any layoffs, adding that they will be seeking to utilize early retirement and voluntary severance options to mitigate the impact on employees. Bowman added that the impact to students, programs, and services will be minimal and no suspensions or cancellations of existing services or educational programs are being proposed. Further details regarding the preliminary budget decisions will be publicized in the next few weeks, and feedback will be invited and considered prior to the final budget being presented for approval at the April 27th regular college board meeting.
Alison, tuition increases, and did you see any police force out there near the college like they had back in Montreal?
Nope.
Isn't that strange?
Not at all, yep.
The increases back in Montreal are even across Canada are lower than any other province, and yet they got out there and they were very vocal, and of course they had to bring in the police to quell the near riot that they had. And we didn't have that here in Quesnel.
No, we didn't. Well, not yet anyways.
Not yet.
Hopefully not.
Prices are going up all over the place.
That's right.
Some sad news. Once again, we've lost a dear soul on our highways as a female lone occupant of a vehicle left the road near Kersley. And according to sources, the highway was in good condition, no ice or snow, and it was not a factor in the accident, but they do feel that there may have been medical issues contributing to the accident. The holiday spring break is coming up. We ask all of you out there, please drive careful. The life you save may be your own.
Very true. And I know we've mentioned this a few times on our program. It's
too many times.
Too many times, that's correct. So the current show in the Quesnel Art Gallery explores the world of felting as interpreted by 5 local artists. They are Maggie Ferguson-Dumais, Jen Webster, Diane Thompson, Lou Doby, and Marlene Hoertz. Felting is described as a non-woven cloth that is produced by matting, condensing, and pressing woolen fibers. And the display, titled For the Love of Felt, showcases everything from animal play toys to whimsy, fairy tale characters, and everything functional and decorative in between. The article describes the different types of felting, including wet felting and needle felting, and includes information on the 5 artists, such as how they got into felting and their preferences on the different techniques. If you want to check it out, the show is in the gallery for March and April, Tuesday to Saturday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And For the Love of Felt is sponsored by Quesnel Door Stop Limited. Better get that right.
Yes. Talking about it is so nice to see people so gifted.
Oh,
I love the picture of the fairy tale character on the felt.
Yes.
Unreal.
We have one of our Toastmaster members actually is a quilter, and she brought in some samples of her work to our meeting last night. And I am so jealous of people that are creative in that way, because I have none of that in me, that's for sure. So I do admire it in other people.
The only way I can play with felt like that is from that game for the little kids that you have, and you make a little flower.
Oh, yeah.
I've done that a couple of times. The city council endorsed a NASCO First Nations economic plan, and fortunately I have the actual resolutions from the city right here, so I'll read them out, and then that way there's no problem with the information that we'll be dispensing on our show. How's that? The first resolution that the city went through is that the City of Quesnel and its subsidiary, the Quesnel Economic Development Corporation, endorsed the vision expressed in the NASCO Gateway Project Plan. NASCO's First Nations vision for development in its traditional territory, the economic development proposed in this vision, and look to proceeding in partnership supporting NASCO's First Nation in this regard. And the second resolution that the city accepted and passed is that the City of Quesnel and its subsidiary, the Quesnel Economic Development Corporation, endorsed the development of a 3-phase power project within the NASCO traditional territory, feeding westward through the NASCO Valley lands in support of developments envisioned by the NASCO First Nation, the City of Quesnel, and the Quesnel Economic Development Corporation. And Resolution 3, that Council hereby moves to report out publicly as soon as possible on Resolutions 1 and 2 in the form of separate press release and TV release. So we help them along that line.
That's right.
So I don't criticize the city all the time. I'm just wondering, though, if there's any costs attached to supporting this new economic development that the NASCO First Nations have in mind.
Well, maybe you could investigate for us and
once again,
let
you
us
give
know.
me work.
Don't I always, Ron?
Yep.
So the Canadian Cancer Society BC and Yukon Division has launched their 2nd annual Tan-Free Grad Challenge, and secondary students across BC are set to fight back against cancer by encouraging their classmates to forego the prom tan and instead rock it in the skin they're in. Melanoma is the most severe form of skin cancer, and it is the 3rd most common cancer among those aged 15 to 29. And locally at Coraloo Secondary School, anti-orange days and powerful speeches are planned throughout the month of March. Student Jake Courtney said that by sharing the tan-free message student to student and having fun doing it, they're hoping to make a greater impact and get more students on board. Last year, over 3,000 students across BC pledged to be tan-free for their graduation, and the Canadian Cancer Society hopes to increase this number significantly by engaging over 30 schools in 2012. In addition to the challenge, the Society is advocating to the BC government to ban indoor tanning for youth under 18. A recent poll commissioned by the Canadian Cancer Society shows that 3/4 of British Columbians would support restricting youth access to indoor tanning equipment. To this end, the CCS has created a special web link at cancergameplan.ca where BC residents can write a letter to the Health Minister telling him legislation prohibiting indoor tanning for those under 18 is not directive, but health protective. The Canadian Cancer Society is a national charity that fights cancer by doing everything they can to prevent cancer, fund research, and support people living with cancer. You can join the fight by visiting their website at cancer.ca or call their toll-free bilingual call center information service at 1-800-939-3333. Ron.
I have a comment about that. We try so hard to tan. Back, way back, just before the dinosaurs passed, what we did as kids was mix iodine and baby oil.
Oh, you've got
and put it on. Well, because you got that orange color.
You're putting ideas out there for people, Ron. I don't know if you should be saying that or not.
No, you can't
That's
get
awful.
it. You can't get it anymore.
But you would be orange, not a nice.
Definitely.
I mean, tan should be bronze, and not orange.
Well,
right?
I like to golf, and you're out in the sun all the time, so you've got to really watch the sun.
Lather yourself up with that stuff every time you go out there.
I put so much on sometimes I even slip out of the golf cart. I hope you believe that.
Yeah, right.
Alison, 2 artists have had their paintings added to the art room, capitalized A-R-T, and they are Jane Herzog and Sylvia Graham. Sylvia, unfortunately, died of cancer in March 11. And photos of both paintings are shown in the Observer. And Graham's husband was on hand for the ceremonies introducing these paintings into the Arterium. And it's a must-see for visitors and locals. And I'm ashamed to admit that I haven't been in there to see that. How about yourself?
I haven't.
We have to correct that.
We should go together and check it out.
So, sounds good.
That sounds good to me too. So I'm going to beat you to the punch this time, Ron, because you always bug me that I always get the food stories. And again, I have another food story this week. You know me, I love to talk about food. I love to eat. I love to cook. So
take a look at me. Do you think I hate food?
Good point. Point taken. So the Coraloo Interact Club is a student volunteer organization, which is a division of the Rotary Club. And they're hosting a dessert night, March 31st in the gym at Coraloo. Entertainment is by the Orange Years and the Reeves, and there's also a dessert auction, silent auction, and refreshments. Tickets are $10 and children under 5 are free, and tickets are available at Circle S Western Wear, Iris, Make Tracks Recreation, and Coraloo School. The doors open at 6:30 p.m. and all proceeds are going towards building a school in a developing country. So a great cause.
It is.
Definitely.
And I have to wait a few minutes before I go into my next segment because I'm drooling. And in sports, you recall that we talked about the BC Winter Games and the number of people that were going down. Well, we've had some excellent results. The little tiny terror, Hazel Mazer, coached her Caribou Northeast hockey team to a 3rd place finish, and she received a bronze medal. Did you hear about the person who received the gold medal?
I didn't.
No. Well, he was so happy he went and had the bronze. Anyhow, stop that now. Anyway, she coached her team to a 3rd place finish, and at the recent BC Winter Games, Hazel outlined through the article the team's progress throughout the tournament. She mentioned many times the effort that was put out by the team, and she had nothing but praise for her team and the 2 young ladies from Quesnel, Keys and Newman. Also in the Winter Games, Coley Rayner took the gold medal in the 2-day aggressive competitions in the female bare bow division. She also earned a bronze medal in head-to-head match play. Madison Roll earned a biathlon bronze medal in junior girls in all athletics. In all, the athletes from the Caribou North zone collected 41 medals, 13 gold, 16 silver, and 12 bronze. So we did all right.
That's a great showing.
And you're off to curling, and you're going to bring back another medal or another
I
trophy?
sure hope so. I sure hope so. We'll do a little thing on it when I get back. I'll bring some pictures and hopefully bring my medal to
Sounds good.
to show you.
You will bring your medal. Either
Okay.
gold or
Okay,
bronze.
I will.
But don't have it bronze.
I won't do that. So Ron, you had the pleasure last show of summing up the Forestry League hockey scores. I know you got a real kick out of Steve Dodge, who writes the articles with such humor and just a really unique spin on just plain old hockey scores.
And on the names.
Yes,
of
and the
players.
names. So the Serenity team displayed some old school Oilers-style hockey in their 8-1 demolition of Blue Collar. And stellar performances, scoring a pair each, came from, and as we've said before, you gotta love these nicknames, Randy Ghostbuster Crofts, Kevin Knight Rider Hesselgrave, and Brent Welcome Back Carter. Dodge himself, admitting that he's better known for his miracle shots on the golf course and curling rinks, scored one on a surprising top shelf rocket. Meanwhile, the Fraser River crew knew the combo as they dealt bare a 4-3 defeat in a hard-fought contest. Chad the Comet Swanson was firing on all cylinders with a goal and 2 assists. Helping him out were Doug Two-All-Beef Patties Mack and Sugar Shane Baker, who also added assists. This is hard to say with a straight face, it really is. So this left the winning goal up to the captain, Chris Crown Royal, who had a Shark Club steak sandwich to thank for the extra zip on his heavy winning shot. With that victory, Fraser River is still in a position where they have at least a mathematical chance of finishing in first with 3 games to go in the regular season.
We have to get Steve out there to start naming some of the NHL players.
We should get him on the show to do his own little sum up on the Forestry League. He probably could do it way better than you and I do.
Yes, he does an excellent job. Maybe we should check that out.
We might.
But we'll have to run it past our producer,
Yes,
Mr. Nate Bello.
we would have to
Don't
do
forget
that.
that.
Yes, we would.
Anyway, on a couple of shows we've mentioned that tax time is coming up, and we want to put another reminder out there that there are free income tax for low-income residents starts on March the 7th at the Salvation Army on McLean Street. It runs from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. every Wednesday in March and April. Not past that because your taxes have to be in before the end of April.
Supposed to be.
Supposed to be.
Yes. Now we've got something new for you on this show. Our producer, Nate Bello, will be starting a regular feature interview with interesting people in Quesnel who have a story to tell. We'll call the segment Nate in Conversation With. Today, his first guest is Ron Silver. Everyone knows Ron as a former Citizen of the Year and face of the Lions Club. The Quesnel Lions is starting a new project, and Ron talks to Nate, who is also a Lion, about it. So here's Nate in conversation with Ron Silver.
Okay, thanks Alison and Ron, and welcome to Nate in Conversation With. This is my first show, and Ron Silver. Hi Ron, how are you?
Hello, mate Nate.
You're doing well today?
I am well, thank you very much. I'm glad to be here.
And I see you're all dressed up in your Lions outfit?
Well, yes, I thought it would be appropriate since this is a Lions conversation.
That's right.
Yeah.
But before we get into the Lions conversation, you've been in Quesnel a little while. You came here to be a banker, right?
That's correct. I came in 1975, transferred from Ontario.
Mm-hmm. And as soon as you hit 55, you said, I'm out of here.
Not out of Quesnel, no. I love Quesnel. Yeah.
But the job, you're ready to...
Oh yeah, happy to retire.
Yeah. Okay, good. And not too many people know this, but we have a connection from Ontario. My wife's family is a relative of both you and your wife, Ginny.
Of my wife, Ginny, yes.
Oh, not you?
Well, I'm an in-law.
Okay, so am I.
Yeah.
Okay, Ron. So you were in Lions even before you came to Quesnel, isn't that true?
I joined Lions in 1964. My father had been a Lion, but he didn't persuade me to become a Lion because he went overseas during the war. But when I moved to a small place called Bramley, Ontario, somebody hit me up to become a Lion, and I joined, and I've been a Lion ever since. Still enjoying it.
And what made you decide to be a Lion?
Well, frankly, it was business purposes at first, because I was opening a new branch bank. I thought I would get to know quite a few people that way. But then it grows on you, and even though I'm no longer in business, I of course remained as a Lion because it's good service work. And the same principles still apply. We have a lot of fun, we enjoy meeting people, and we get a charge out of what we do.
We did a little bit of a promo a year and a half ago, and Shaw was happy, nice enough to put it on, and so we've been playing that from time to time. And it was great to see how the camaraderie that there is among the Lions members.
Yeah, we enjoy each other's companies, and your promo was, of course, when we still had our orange vests, but we've now changed to blue for no real reason. But we do enjoy each other's company, and we're not happy unless we're having fun while we work. And anybody who comes out to a meeting comments on that fact.
Yeah, and in fact, I'm also a Lion. I've got my hat here too. But just last week, when somebody came and to speak to us, didn't they comment on that?
Yes,
too?
they did.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to get into a new project that the Lions are undertaking. But first of all, let's just talk a little bit about traditionally, what do the Lions do in our community? Where do they spend their money, their investment?
Lions International was formed in 1917, and it was a group of businessmen in Chicago who thought that they could do great things by working together. They didn't really get their focus, I guess you could say, until 1925, when Helen Keller addressed the International Convention, and she guided them to take care of the blind, to look out for sight. And on an international basis, Lions International does a lot of work in developing countries for sight, combating river blindness, helping with operations and establishing clinics for low vision. Over and above that, they do a lot of work in disaster relief, and we contribute a few dollars each year towards Lions International humanitarian work. In our district, in other words in British Columbia and Washington State, which is our district, we do humanitarian work as well. We establish wells in developing countries, and right now our program is to help motherhood, I guess you could say, prevent death by maternal purposes. So those are some of the things we do outside of the community. Within the community, we have a great service project in helping students who are maybe reading at below grade level, and we go into 2 schools and we assist by providing additional reading for these kids. I really enjoy that. I spend about 3 hours a week at 2 different schools reading with 6 different children. So, and you get a feeling of satisfaction because you can see the difference it's making, and the teachers are really enjoying it as well. They remark on how well it's helping the kids. And when you think about it, a person who is not reading sort of up to snuff, they're going to miss out on a lot, because when I was a banker, I got oodles and oodles of circulars and mail and everything that I had to read every day. So if I was having difficulty reading, it was could have been a real problem. So nowadays, of course, you're always reading instructions on computer programming, but myself, I like to do quite a bit of reading just for my own enjoyment, the mysteries and the adventure stories and that sort of thing. So I split my reading between, even though I'm quite elderly, I still split my reading between motivational and enjoyment.
And Lions has also, one more thing I'd like to mention is about you mentioned internationally and nationally healthcare, but locally we're pretty strong in helping individuals.
We help individuals who are in need of accommodation if they have to travel for healthcare reasons. We make a lot of donations to organizations that do similar things too. And generally speaking, Lions International, although they have many programs of their own, they allow clubs to create programs that are needed within the community, because they sort of say that the club is the best one to know what is needed within a community.
And most of the money that's raised in the community?
I would say about 98% of it stays within either the community or within the province. That's we don't send much money outside of it. We do, as I've mentioned, we have a care project which is in Ecuador, and we support that. And we have our Lions International humanitarian projects, and we support those as well. But those are pretty small donations compared to what we spend within the community.
Okay, let's talk about the community and a new project that's just being started. We are going to be putting some ads in the paper. We're going to get out to the community in the month of March. Can you tell us about that new project?
Well, some time ago, as our club was growing and we were keeping everybody busy in our two major fundraising activities, the garage sale and the TV bingo, but I thought it would be great if members could get more satisfaction and get to know more about their community by looking at what might be needed in the community. And in order to do this, there is a program within Lions International called Community Needs. So you get the support of Lions International just through forums and information. But we started this, I would say, early last spring, a year ago, and here it is a year later, and now we're finally getting out to the public. So in doing this, what we're anxious to do is find out from the public what they feel is needed within Quesnel. No matter what they think, it may be a large need which a service club is not able to handle, but even so, we still want to know about it. So that's why we're getting questionnaires out to the public. And
So all the Lions have questionnaires. They're getting them out to the public.
right.
And what can people do if they don't either know a Lion or they don't have any contact with Lions in some way?
Well, they could phone me at 747-3758.
747-3758.
That's right.
Okay.
And my name is well known throughout the community in various contact places. Or
All in good repute.
oh, mostly. Yes. And they could drop into KMAX and talk to Mitch Vick there, and Mitch would have forms. And they can get in touch with a person named Nate Bello.
Right, Nate Bello, okay,
Yeah.
yeah. 992-3650.
Yes.
Okay, and we're going to be sending them out electronically too if people want them. They could call Mitch at the KMAX store and just ask him, and he'll email you a copy.
And some have gone out and come back already.
Oh, that's great, and we want to get a big number.
Yes.
So I know we've made 250 hard copies, but we hopefully will double that in other ways.
Yeah, we'll be glad to print more, as many as are needed.
Great. Okay, so in conclusion, you know, we do these kind of things. We want to see our community grow, but what is it that keeps you going? As you said, you're retired now, and a lot of people when they retire, they don't go out to the community as much. They stay at home. It seems like. Is that true? And why do you keep going out and working?
Well, I think most people only do volunteer work as long as they're enjoying doing it. And if you're getting a feeling of satisfaction out of doing volunteer work, then you will do it. And that's my makeup, I guess. I just enjoy doing it, so that's it.
Okay. Well, Ron, thanks very much for being with me. I really
You're
appreciate
quite welcome,
it.
Nate. Right.
And maybe we'll come back after we get the results and see what the community says.
That would be good.
Okay. Thanks very much. And now back to Ron and Ellie.
Thanks for that, Nate and Ron. That's a great segment, and we'll be looking forward to more from Nate on his In Conversation With. And now it is time to take a look at our community calendar. So that's what's happening locally. And now for, I know the segment that everybody looks forward to, Ron's Rumblings.
And I have quite a few. Today, I'd like to talk about unions. Don Cherry, who is on Hockey Night in Canada, is either hated or loved by hockey fans. And today, that's how I feel about unions. The recent teachers' job action brings up my concern about unions because those that are in the unions seem that they figure that they're entitled to everything they ask for. It's more and more apparent that workers want to tell the employers how to run their business. We elected the government to look after our tax dollars. We have other programs out there, health care, the BCGEU government employees, all of these different programs. The employees are looking this year to go on strike or to talk to the government about their contracts. I don't believe that I voted for anyone that runs the unions. I did vote for the government that is trying to save our tax dollars and make sure they're spent equitably throughout the government. And I think that it is now time that both sides have to be more reasonable, and the big word out here is they have to be honest. Honest to the public and honest to each other. Because you hear from the government that they can't afford this and they can't afford that. You hear from the teachers union that they're overworked, overtaxed with students, and you hear from the government that they're not. So they have to come together and they have to tell us what is really happening out there on both sides so that we can have a fair idea of what is going to happen for our students. And when that happens, I think that society is going to be much better off if trust is brought into negotiations. That's my rumblings, and now my thought for the day. Yesterday is gone, tomorrow is uncertain, today is here. Let's use it wisely. That's it. Hopefully I'm back next time to see you. I may not be, but we'll have to find out.
We'll go from there, you bet.
Because CBC wanted to fire Don Cherry too, you know, and he's still there.
So what are you thinking, you might slide in there?
Somehow, yeah.
Maybe? I think that would be awesome. So that is it for this show. You can contact us by email at qtoday2012@gmail.com to give us any feedback you might have or give us any news tips that you think we should cover here on Q Today, or if you'd like to just be a sponsor or a volunteer. You can also call Nate at 992-3650 or call the station and leave a message for John McKenzie at 992-8363.
And remember that the show is produced by Quesnel Media Access Group, or QMAG, and we're also looking for more members of that group. And you can also watch us on the internet, online, on demand, on the World Wide Web.qcatv at .ca. That's the Quesnel Community Access TV. Okay. And that's done by our colleague, Eddie D'Souza.
You bet. So thanks for watching. Remember, our purpose is to get a conversation going for Quesnel, by Quesnel.
Bye for now.
Hey, I think we said it right together that time. That's a first.
That's a first time.